On today's show, let's play a game. Is it something or nothing? The Mavericks start talks with Christian Wood on a contract extension, and Luka Doncic is scoring at an insane rate. We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Remember, Locked On Mavs is free and available on all podcast platforms, including YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to comment anything below. There's going to be a couple games we're going to play today with Is It Something or Nothing? Ooh. So let me know in the comment section as we get to them. Is it something or nothing? Let me know what the thing is, but we won't start with it just yet. Joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, and contributor at Mavs.com, the whiteboard wonder, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
You said whiteboard. Just want to make that clear.
White boy wonder, white bread wonder.
Boston Celtics in town tonight. Let's do this.
I can feel John Corrales is near. He's near. Somewhere.
John Corrales, where are you?
He's downtown in a hotel right now.
Here in Dallas. So if you see John Corrales at the game tonight, give him some love. Tell him that Luka's better than Tatum.
He is tall and bald. I will say that. On today's show, let's play a game. Is it something or nothing? I'm going to go through a bunch of stats and a bunch of things and talk about is it something or nothing. We'll start with Luka Doncic, his insane scoring rate. Then we'll talk about the Christian Wood story that Mark Stein dropped today on his Substack.
That's going to be the never-ending story, right?
I know. The never-ending story. Look at what you see.
Here we go.
Christian Wood. Will he take 1, 2, or 3? And then we'll get into some more stats from across the Mavericks. Whole situation here that they got. Whatever it is. All right, let's start with this one. Luka Doncic scoring 34.3 points. Up 5.5 points from his previous career high. Isaac Harris, write it out. And the size that we write it out is how big or how little we think of it. Is it something or nothing?
Can you define for the audience what you're meaning by something or nothing?
Yeah, does it for the audience? It's probably for Isaac.
No, I just want people, because I think there's other way. Like you could say something means, oh, that's like true, because some of these statements could be like maybe true or false, or something.
No, none of them are true and false.
Does
it mean something? Does it mean something, or does it mean nothing? Is it something that's like, we kind of expected that, or is it something that's like, oh, that's something, like that means something, and let me tell you why. 3, 2, 1. You wrote nothing, really, really small. I wrote something decently big here. Why do you think Luka's career high in scoring is nothing?
I think here's the thing. I think it's cool for him. I think for the league as a whole, I think it's almost getting like join the group kind of, because there's so many people over 30 now to where it's almost like, that's the biggest talking point. I feel like every national pod right now is asking the question, like, why is the big scoring surge? Why are we having all these career nights? And everybody has their
until tonight in the NBA. Good Lord, nobody wanted to score. Nobody wanted to score one.
And I feel like everybody's trying to think of their reasons and the hypothesis around it and all this stuff. So I put it in small letters because it definitely means something for him, because it's awesome and definitely helps his MVP case. I just think like overall league wide, it doesn't mean as much because so many players are over 30 right now.
Yeah, I think that I think it means something because it's for him. He's taken another step forward, I think. And there's a couple of stats we're going to go over here in a minute as to why he's taking that step forward. So let's get into those. But here's another one. Luka Doncic's usage rate is 37.4%, and it ranks 3rd in the NBA right now. Is that something or nothing?
Riveting content.
I know. We got to write it. We got to start writing these for
our audio listeners.
3, 2, something. I think this is something because a lot has been said about, well, Luka's doing too much. And yeah, it's true. And all the things about he has to have another star next to him and there has to be somebody else. But other guys are doing this too. Like there's other guys in the NBA that have this usage percentage and are handling the ball as much. It's just kind of the way the NBA is right now. I was thinking a lot about, as I saw that percentage, I was thinking about Michael Jordan, and I was like, imagine Michael Jordan in today's NBA with the amount that they allow stars to not only just like get away with, but also like carry and handle the offense and all that. And like he would probably end up being a point guard. Like Michael Jordan's highest usage rate was in 86. It was 38.6. He had a usage rate of 38 twice, of 36 once, of 34 twice. Like if he was in this era, it would be an insane usage percentage that he would have, because he could also carry that load because he played a ton of minutes too, and he could do a lot of stuff in it. And yeah, so I think this is something because Luka's usage doesn't mean as much. Like the percentage doesn't mean as much, but that other players have a high usage rate too. That's what the NBA is right now.
Yeah. So, okay. So are you saying something that means something?
That he ranks third, because that means it's like that means something to me.
Yeah. I think it means something kind of the other way too, that it's just a telling sign that, shocking, we don't have somebody alongside him that's going to,
right,
lower that usage rate as much. But that's just kind of part of it. Not groundbreaking news, though.
No, it's still true and is going to be true until they make a big deal or, somebody steps up in a way that we don't expect.
But it's also kind of the style they're embracing too. They've built everything around Luka, so they're kind of embracing the high usage too.
Along that, something or nothing. Luka Doncic is taking almost 4 more free throw attempts per game.
Ooh.
Whoever's done first, put theirs up. I say it's something really big, and Isaac wrote it.
I did too.
Isaac wrote it big as well. Luka, the NBA has kind of changed a little bit. I'll talk about that in a second, but I think Luka's also just embracing who he can be as a player, and he's not doing the hardened like, oh, let me just go try to get a foul and trick the refs and do all that kind of stuff. Like he's not doing that. He's legitimately getting downhill, he's getting the post, and he's getting fouled because he's really, really hard to stay in front of and to try and stop. And so he's getting to the line a lot more. And he's getting some star treatment for sure. He's getting some extra calls. And so that matters, right? Like stars get that.
Yeah, he's averaging his highest free throw attempts per game, a little over 11 so far this year. And I wrote down, it's kind of in the same ballpark as this of Luka's. It's his lowest since his rookie season. It's his lowest 3-point attempts per game, but his highest 3-point percentage, for the season so far. And does that mean something? Does that, we don't have to write it on the board or anything, but it just kind of goes on the same something in big bold letters. But it just goes that whole storyline that has been the shift for him a little bit this year is he is driving more. He is getting to the paint more because he knows that it's just automatic. He's going to get fouled or he's going to score, and he doesn't have to settle as much. That's why we've been tracking the 3-point attempts per game and the whole, like, if he shoots 10 or above, how many times they lose, 9 or below, how many times they win, and all that.
Coming up, I got a few more things about Luka and about how he's scoring more points. How has he become more effective? We'll talk about that in a second. But before we do, let me tell you about Built Bar. It's a protein bar. It tastes like a candy bar. Isaac and I have both tried these. We've also paid our own money for them. They're great. We love them. They have unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. Go check it out. 100% real chocolate. It's a protein bar. It tastes like a candy bar. You can go and get them at Walmart now. Walk to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can see them right now. You can also still order them online if you want to. The puffs are amazing. If you get your hands on the brownie batter puffs, they're available right now on the website. I may have to re-up and get me some of those. Those have become my favorite. They're absolutely great. The brownie batter puffs, 140 calories, 17 grams of protein, 6 grams of sugar, a bar covered in 100% chocolate. Go check it out. It's built.com. All right, Isaac Harris, thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Go make your second listen today, Locked On Sports today, or Locked On NBA with me and Pat the designer. Some great stuff that I'm sure we will have today, as I have not recorded that episode just yet. Let's keep going. Something or nothing. With the free throws we were talking about earlier, so Luka is averaging 4 more free throw attempts per game this season than last year. We both agreed that was something. Here are the players this year that are averaging 10 or more free throw attempts per game. Giannis at 13, Embiid at 11.5, Luka at 11, and SGA at 10. That's 4 players averaging 10 or more free throws. Since 2010, the most players that have had 10 free throw attempts per game in a season is 2. It's like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. It's like there have not been many players ever that have had this many, and we have 4 this year. It's kind of amazing the way that the NBA is going right now.
That's interesting. I wonder if that will go down though as the season goes.
I think it's not necessarily. It probably will at a certain point. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season necessarily, but I think it says more about what individual players, their usage and all that, like what we were talking about earlier, that more players have a higher usage right now. And so that would make sense that more guys are going to the line, and they're calling like the hand checking stuff, like that changed from past NBA iterations and generations. So stuff has changed. Luka is taking advantage of it, and that's one of the reasons why he's been more effective. Another reason, Luka Doncic post-ups are way, way up. In 2020, he averaged 1 post-up a game. That was 3% of his... this is a long walk, but we'll go to something or nothing here in a second. 3% of his offense. In 2021, 1.8 post-ups a game. That was 6% of his offense. In 2022, 2.5 post-ups a game. That was 9% of his offense. This year, he's at 4.3 post-ups per game. That is at 13.5%. Isaac Harris, are these post-ups for Luka something?
We're back.
I told you it was a long walk, but we'd get there. Are these something or nothing? 3, 2. Oh yeah, I got something real big.
You haven't wrote nothing yet.
Well, these are all mine that I wrote down. I think they're all something.
I wrote down something because I think you look at it too and say back in 2020, KP was on the team, right? Like we're still trying to force these 2 different offenses to work and trying to force feed KP on the post and all of that. It's like, and KP was he's a good shooter. I was gonna say a theoretical shooter, but that's kind of doing a little disservice. But it's like that you're not trying to clear everything out to post up Luka as much, with KP, and you could do that a little bit more. And this is stealing one of mine, but I had wrote down for Christian Wood and KP. Christian Wood is shooting a higher percentage from 3 than Kristaps Porzingis ever did, but I think it goes with Luka's like his post ups, the pick and pop and the pick and roll and all of that. That now I get it. KP was considered the second star and trying to mold some of the offense around. They're not molding the offense around Christian Wood, So It's like Christian Wood get the whatever Luka passes to you type stuff. So, or when Luka's not on the floor, but I think it is something that he's posting up a lot more this season because once again, get it near the paint for Luka and he's efficient.
And especially without JaVale McGee, Dwight Powell's been playing less minutes. You've been playing 5 out a lot more. And so he has that space to post up there. And that's just one of his most unstoppable moves is if he can post up on guards, right? It seems like he sort of found that in the playoffs where, hey, why don't I just post these guys up? It takes less energy for me. I can do more. I can, do that instead of trying to like catch people off the dribble and like shake and bake and do all that kind of stuff. That's not like he can do that, but that's not necessarily his game because he's not quicker than every single player, every single defender out there. So you're just doing more work. So if you back him down, post up, he's also over the last couple of years added the, like the turnaround Dirk fade, that is a post up move that he's added to his arsenal. So all that stuff I think is just such a big benefit to his game. And one of the reasons why I think that he's up in free throw attempts, he's up in points so much per game and efficiency this year.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic this year, is this something or nothing? Has twice as many step back threes as anyone else in the NBA this year. Is that something or nothing? Luka has 80 step back threes made. Donovan Mitchell has 36. Kevin Huerter's 31. And we both wrote nothing.
Nothing.
This is nothing to me because I guess it's something in that Luka is one of the most skilled players in the NBA. Like, okay, we know that. We just talked about that for 14 minutes that he is. But I think it's nothing because, I don't know, it's just who he is. Luka's going to be who he is, and if anyone else wants to add that shot, they can, but I don't think he found something that like nobody else is doing.
It would matter to me if he was shooting averaging over 10 threes a game. It would matter to me if he was shooting like 30% from 3. Like all of that would matter, but he's shooting 36% from 3 right now, which is the highest, like I said a while ago, his highest since his rookie season, I think. So far. Yeah, it's highest since his rookie season. His 3-point attempts is 8.2 per game. Last time it was 8.2. Well, his rookie season was 7.1. So it's like if those numbers, one of those was higher and the other one was lower, the percentage was lower, I would be like, yeah, that's actually something, because he's taking a lot of setback threes that are probably not good shots, but he's taking a lot of them and he's still shooting the ball pretty efficiently.
Well, and also the stat is he's making more step back threes than anybody. So he's made 80. Donovan Mitchell's made.
Oh, I thought you said attempted.
Yeah, no, he's making. I think this was a Goldstein. What's his name? I got his map.
Goldsberry.
Goldberry. I couldn't forget his name.
Kirk
Goldsberry. I got his book up there. I got his map over there. This is his poster on the back wall. I can't remember the guy's name. Luka's made 80, Donovan Mitchell's made 36, Kevin Huerter's made 31, James Harden's made 30, Curry has made 28. So Luka is shooting 39% from step back threes.
One of those players is not like the other.
I know James Harden just is not the same as some of these other guys. Yeah. All right, you have any more on Luka?
I don't think so, because I already said it a while ago, but no.
All right,
I got one that kind of relates to Luka. Do you have any Jason Kidd ones? Okay, here you go. Even though we've kind of talked about it already on the pod.
Oh boy.
Jason Kidd not taking up for Luka with the refs. Something or nothing.
This is a great one because we already know that we disagree with it.
Well, you even wrote it big. You think
it's medium. It's medium. It's a medium. It's not big. It's not big. It's not small. It's a medium.
You have a different definition of big.
Twitter isn't the coach or the player.
No, wait. This is the one I should have played.
Good morning, Isaac.
I think it's something because
morning time's a good time.
I think it's something because it's definitely what Jason Kidd wants to be as a coach. He doesn't want to be the I'm out there yelling angry guy. Like he's definitely trying, like as a person, I feel like he's really trying to, ever since he started with the Mavericks, you can tell he was trying to either buck that narrative or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's just be a better person in his mind.
Yeah.
Like he's really trying to take a step forward. He had those meetings with St. Marshall and all that stuff. And so I think it is something that he's not doing it like he's not taking it like that. But I think it's also something because Luka, like he knows that Luka would just do it. Like Luka would just argue with the refs anyway.
Yeah. I think it's a little overblown a little bit of, hey, we got to get this. Our coach's got to get out there and save Luka. I'm like, he ain't saving Luka at all. No. Like, Luka's still going to do his thing. And the reason why I don't think it's that big of a deal also is it'd be different if Luka like made a nod to it somehow in an interview or something. We don't know. Like, we don't know their relationship. We don't know. Like, what if they're like super close and and Luka could care less? It's like, dude, I ain't gonna bother me or anything. So
I do wonder if the not getting on the refs, the not wanting to challenge things. I wonder if that gets at Luka. But I think
I wonder. I mean, I think it would me. I
think any coach would do that though, right? That's just sort of what a coach does at a certain point. All right, coming up, let's get into the Christian Wood story because Mark Stein dropped a report about Christian Wood today. The camps are having talks. Is it something or nothing? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs is the place where you can go check out jobs that are available for you. You can also post jobs for free right now at LinkedIn. You can see if you're a small business owner or you're a hiring manager, success in 2023 all depends on the team that's around you. So LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open jobs with targeting tools. They then go beyond the resume data by using insights from your job post company and their 875 million member profiles. That seems like way too many. How is that even possible? So you can go to LinkedIn Jobs, connect them fast and for free. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they will apply. All right, Isaac Harris, we are playing a game, something or nothing. Mark Stein dropped a report today that The Mavs have begun talks with Christian Wood's camp on a contract extension. Is it something or nothing? Ready? 3.
Hold on, I'll draw a picture too, and it might not come across.
3, 2, 1. You wrote something in small letters. I wrote nothing in little letters. It's a little nothing. It's a little nothing. It's a little nothing.
The only reason I wrote something is I think there's a very realistic path, as much as people don't want to hear this at all. I think there's a very realistic path that a month ago that we're not even hearing this type of stuff. That it's just that
they're not talking at all.
Yeah, they're not talking at all. Like, hey, we're just playing this out. We'll see how it happens. And then it just quietly traded by the deadline, or there you go. I think because he has played so well, and I mean, this has been the best case scenario for him over the past like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That Dallas they just flat out can't ignore it. Like, no matter if they believe in him long term, no matter how some of you out there think he's like second, coming of AD. But then some people think he's like, just a bench warmer too. And it's like, okay, I think there's a medium of that. There's a balance between those two. And I think, Dallas just can't ignore it now. Right. Like, so I think the fact that now, could you say that even if Dallas didn't have any plans of extending him, getting that word out, tells other teams on the market, they're not going to like just give him away at the deadline. Like, it might tell other teams that they might have to try to give up something if if Dallas is trying to negotiate with them, then we might have to up our price on the trade market. Could you say that? Maybe. But I feel like if Stein and McMahon are saying, hey, Dallas is interested in a 2-year deal, then they're legitimately interested. And I think they should, because I've been a proponent all along. I think a 2-year deal would be a great deal.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the starting talks, like the report of their starting talks about a contract extension, like I think that specific report is nothing because like they should have been doing it since December 24th, right? Like maybe we're just now hearing about it because both sides want to keep it hush hush for now until your point where then now you want you don't leak it or anything until you want someone else to know. Like you want other teams to know at a certain point. So we'll see what happens with that. The other part of this report though that's making the rounds is this something or nothing? Mark Stein didn't say that, but that's part of our game. If the Mavericks can't come to terms with Wood on a new contract, they are widely expected to explore the trade market for him before the league's February 9th trade deadline. Is this something or nothing? I got mine. Ready? I wrote something small. You wrote something big. Why is this a big something?
I just think that's just very, very true. That was the least surprising thing on the thing is I think I would have been way more surprised if it was like, if Dallas can't come to an agreement on an extension, then they're prepared to just ride out the season with him.
Yeah.
I would be more shocked if that was the report. But no, I mean, I think it should be pretty simple of, hey, whatever your terms are for Dallas, if you can't come to an agreement with him on an extension, then you have to entertain the trade market. You just can't do the whole you can't do the Brunson situation again, right? Like, you just can't.
No, this is a little something to me, but we've been saying this whole time. They're going to explore these trade market. Like they're going to explore it if they can't come to terms with the deal. If they do come to terms with the deal, that's great. Then you just ride out the rest of the season and the rest of the contract, and then it's a different story 2 years from now or whatever. But if they can't come to terms, you have to. This is the same thing with this part is the exact same thing as Brunson. Last year, the Mavericks tried to trade Brunson. They really thought they were down the road and had a deal for Brunson at certain points, and it just didn't materialize. It just didn't happen for better or for worse for the playoff run last year. But then they end up losing Brunson because of the very specific Knicks situation that happened. And so now they're doing that sort of same thing with Christian Wood, and now we'll see what happens if they do come to terms with the deal or if they do try to trade him. Because if they don't come to terms with the deal, they really should trade him.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't a secret either, but I mean, we know who caught wind of them trying to trade him, Jalen Brunson. So it's like, players are going to catch wind of that too. So the moment, that's why if you see something like Christian Wood's name being out there, like it wouldn't shock me if the first time you hear Christian Wood linked to another team is if it's like a legitimate trade getting announced. Because you got to look at all the why does certain news come out?
Yeah.
And what's the leverage play in this? If that is what Dallas's move is right now, if they are entertaining a trade thing, you want other teams to think that you're also negotiating a contract extension too, because you don't want it to get out to other teams that, yeah, we're just gonna like try to just get rid of him because we can't keep him, like, because then you're not gonna get anything back. So, but I do think this isn't sourced at all. I do think Dallas would be interested in a shorter term deal.
Yeah, well, no, they are. I mean, that was part of Mark Stein's report today, is that they're interested.
Yeah,
in
well, we were just like speculating, or I was just speculating on, is that like a leverage play of around the league or not? But
so we'll see. This talk is not going away anytime soon until it is resolved.
I feel like we should just make a segment on Christian Wood extension talk for like every pod.
Christian, if you would.
I got a couple of non-Christian Wood ones.
Let me do the two quotes first.
Oh, okay.
Christian, there was a report from, not a report, but a story from Callie Kaplan about Luka Doncic and Christian Wood, their relationship in the Dallas Morning News. Christian Wood had a quote that said about him and Luka, "We go together like ice cream and fudge. Is this something or nothing?"
Oh gosh, I don't know. Question mark?
I wrote something. I drew a little ice cream. I think it's something. I think it's something that they get along really well. Luka also had the quote, "He never gets mad when I yell at him." That was the quote from Luka.
That was good. Yeah.
That one I think is a little bit even more something, because that sounds like a projection of hey, somebody else got mad at me, got mad when I yelled at them, or other people have gotten mad at me when I've yelled at them in the past. And so with Wood not getting mad at him, feeling like they go well together, Christian Wood embracing this duo with Luka, I feel like it is something.
Yeah, I think you can tell with Luka. Luka's not the longest quote, interview. So he likes to keep it short pretty often, and I think the more he expands on a player, I think it's kind of a little sign of, it doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you a little bit of, oh, okay, well, he kind of likes him. Like he's open to him.
Yeah.
Instead of, yeah, he's a gifted basketball player. Really happy he's playing well.
Yeah, of course. He's a good basketball player. Yeah.
So the fact that he's expanding on and saying stuff like that, I think it does tell about the relationship.
What else you got?
McKinley Wright's play as of late, is that something or nothing? Which isn't a ton. I know I'm like reaching for something, but I don't know.
All right. I think it's a little something.
You just did one.
I just wrote an S. I think it's a little something. I think it's something because I think Jason Kidd trusts players that can defend. If you can defend, Jason Kidd's going to play you, and he's been playing him a little bit, and we've seen a little bit here and there. My problem with him is the same problem we've had since they signed him, is like if you can't hit a three, or you're not even a threat to hit a three, and you're a guard in the NBA, like what's your ceiling, or where do they play you? Like what do you cap out at? And so he's gonna be good for the Mavericks in like these little runs. They need some defense every once in a while, like in this winning streak, but outside of that, and on top of that, until he adds that three, that's why Patrick Beverley became viable. He added the three and really started hitting the three ball well off of those Harden throws. And then he was like, all right, now he can play.
I just like his energy. I like how much he tries on defense. And, I'm not looking at him as a starter or playing alongside Luke or anything like that. But like, I think there's a reason why he gets some of these minutes over Jaden Hardy sometimes in these meaningful games that Josh Green and these guys are missing, because he's playing really good defense and he tries his butt off. So I think it's a little bit of something, because when push comes to shove, and let's say this whole roster is like healthy, could we see him playing over Frank and Jaden Hardy, like for a few minutes, like spot minutes here and there? Like I could see that because of that he's played decent as of late.
Last one, unless you had any others.
I had something about transition, about how much they suck in transition, but I don't think it means anything. It's kind of like their thing.
We'll say nothing on that one.
Nothing.
The Mavs are 2.5 games out of first in the West and 2.5 games out of ninth in the West right now. Is that something or nothing? They're right now 2.5. They're in fourth place still, even after the games tonight, I think. They're 2.5 games away from the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. They are 2.5 games away from the Suns that are like in ninth right now. Something or nothing? I wrote everything, and Isaac wrote nothing. This is everything because this is the season. Like, this is the season. Like, it could swing.
But that's for everybody, though. I put nothing because everybody's in the same spot with outside of like 3 teams.
But it's everything because it's the season. This season is going to, like, you're going to live on the edge of a knife, right? Because you're like, a bad stretch will take you all the way down out of the play-in. A good stretch will, and so like, and this team runs hot and cold. Like, they live and die by the 3 a lot. They haven't during this winning streak because they've been playing bad teams. They've embraced Christian Wood more and all that. But if they just live and die by the 3 even more, then like, it's a bad one week of bad 3-point shooting. This team could be out of the play-in. Like, that's how wild it could get at a certain point, which is why I think it's everything this year. Like, if you look in the East, Cleveland is the 4 seed right now. They're a game and a half out of first, and they are like 7.5 games out of 10th. You're like that's nothing, right? Like, you're far enough. You have a good enough cushion right now that you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Don't speak that blasphemy on them.
On Cleveland?
No, on Dallas. They could drop down to.
I'm just saying they're 2.5 games out of 9th. They're 4 games out of 10th. So there's a little bit more there, but yeah, wild. So let us know in the comment section below. I'm sure you'll have opinions on the something or nothing on these. Let us know on any of them. Go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Great stuff on the YouTube. Their YouTube channel, or wherever you
like a grandpa
on the YouTubes. You can check it out on
going to the Walmart for groceries later.
The Instagram. Check it out, and thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.